the best script we've done since I've been at McCook. But let me also say this won't be a lot of fun for the audience. It's set in Mayfield, Mississippi in 1962. It's largely about a dysfunctional family. This family owns a diner that is whites only, which wasn't that uncommon in Mississippi at that time. And into this mix, the state police drop off the first black student ever accepted at a university in at a white university in Mississippi during a thunderstorm to wait for the bus.
So this taking place some tough times back in the 60s, right?
Tough time, and it's a time that our college students don't even understand. We have people who lived through it, you know, that live here in McCook that will remember some of the things, but it's a time that we don't talk about in our country, and it's kind of sad because it did a lot of shaping. But it's a really good script. I will warn the audience that there is some racially charged language in this show because of the time period. But it's a wonderful piece of theater. Oh my gosh! And for something different, we've done this particular show. The young black man is played by an actor from Houston who just drove into town on Sunday and will be here through the run of the show. A really talented actor that we're lucky to have him here.
He's right next to you right here. Let's see. Maybe we've got to make introductions, Clay. Go ahead.
This is Cameron Banks from Houston, Texas, and trust me, he can speak for himself.
Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here in Nebraska. It's a lot colder than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was 70 when you left Houston.
Absolutely.
You could have brought some of that 70-degree weather with you.
Well, I definitely thought about it. The sleet wouldn't let me. On the way up here, it was incredibly cold, and I'm just so happy to make the trip to be here with everyone.
It has been an awful winter, cold-wise, but we're if you live in Nebraska, you get used to it, but we're sick of it. So anytime you want to flip the switch and turn it 70, go ahead, okay?
I definitely will.
First thing he did when he got to town, before even coming by the college, tell them what you did.
Well, I got into town and it was almost 7 degrees. So we went by and got some long johns. That was the first thing I went by. I got all colors, every set I could get. Everyone was extremely excited to see me. It was really good to see all the warm smiles. A lot of genuine people here in this city, and I really appreciate all the hospitality, truly.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and how'd you get you and Clay get hooked up for this production? How'd it happen?
Well, me and Mr. Grizzle go way back, almost to 2010. We actually have done this show before for a smaller city by the name of Carthage, Texas. A lot of people in that town really enjoyed the content. They really appreciated how the awareness of what was going on back then shows us how far we've come and how far we still need to go, honestly. The story of the show is really deep, and Mr. Grizzle actually brought me to the school by pitching this show along with other ones. And I really feel like me and Mr. Grizzle have a great chemistry as far as an actor and director go.
So have you, so far as this production, have you done this similar ones, or have you done this kind of show before?
We've done similar ones like this and the same show as well. We've gotten the chance to work with this and really develop it. And he and I work well together with bringing the character of Nathan to light and really showing people how the commentary we want to present.
What he hasn't told you yet is the way we became acquainted. He's a former student of mine.
Absolutely. I'm a former student at a small community college there in Texas. Mr. Grizzle brought me in and really showed me the way, and he actually molded me to become a better actor than what I am. So as soon as I left college, I went straight into the entertainment business, and now I'm a recording artist, and I do my thing with my business manager. We travel around the country, and we really try to bring enlightenment to people.
And he's here in studio, pictures and doing all sorts of stuff, isn't he?
I still got to get used to this guy taking pictures of me and just following me around and live streaming my life for people. It's definitely an experience.
Because you're not that old. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
You're still not even 30 yet, for crying out loud. So, but your career is really taken off in a good way.
Yes, sir. Having mentors like Mr. Grizzle right beside me, people to guide me throughout this entire experience has been something that helps me feel a lot more older than 26 for sure. Absolutely.
Now, this is the first time you've done, since you've been here at MCC, a production like this, isn't it?
Yes, but I'm trying to set a stage that I think one of the things we have a responsibility to do at the college is not just entertain with our theater program, but to challenge people, to make people think about the world. And there are lots of scripts like this that are really good and kind of push people to think, and I want to try to work more of those in.
This is coming up now. What are the dates? Coming up here
Right.
pretty soon, isn't it?
We open a week from tonight. It's the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Those are 3 night performances at 7. And then we have a Sunday matinee at 2 o'clock. For those people who came to our last show, The Boys Next Door, we're going to be able to get an extra row of seating in because, well, we had standing room only every night. So that'll help a lot. And because we've designed a smaller set. So that'll be good. This is a really, really wonderful show. I love the script. We have a really good cast. We've been working on this. 2 of my cast members have had their scripts since December the 1st. Because one of them, Brandon Molson, never leaves the stage. Well, he walks off for maybe 30 seconds and comes right back, but he's always on stage. And so he's had a lot to learn. He's almost half the script. But it's a really wonderful story, and one of the big things in it is we have these 2 young men, 19-year-old college, one former college student and one who would give anything to be able to go to college. And in this meeting process, what they realize is they're just alike. They have dads pressuring them to go a direction they don't want to go. They have the same kinds of families. And in 1962, that was a pretty amazing revelation for a black and a white to realize that they were just alike.
Absolutely. In a show like this, with it being so racially charged, you see a really colorblind conversation between 2 young men who genuinely find common ground. And it's a beautiful script, the way it's written, from escalating from so many different ranges of things. And I don't want to give away too many surprises, but it definitely gives us a full scope of the American family in that time.
It should be a great show, huh?
Yes. I'm excited about this show.
Yeah.
Probably more so than anything we've done since I've been here.
Now, Rick Johnson and the MCC art department kind of helps you out with the background and everything.
They're drawing. We have a window, and in the window we're building so that we have a thunderstorm in the window, so it'll be raining. And then on the other side of that is a downtown that the Rick and the art people have drawn, and they're going to come in and finish painting that, and so you can kind of see the city outside the window. And it's a little dumpy diner that nobody eats at.
Nobody eats that?
Well, no, nobody
Okay.
eats at.
Okay.
In fact, the entire show, they have no customers.
You've got some other cast members as well. You want to mention them?
I sure do. As I've already mentioned, Carl, who really is the principal in the story, he's the young man who changes. He is played by Brandon Molsick. His father, Jack, is played by Will. Oh my gosh, Will Babbitt. Please forgive me, Will.
That's okay.
But Jack is 25 years ago. Jack was the town stud. He was the quarterback on the football team, and he was the star on the baseball team, and he quarterbacked them to state, and they won state, and he was the big guy in town. And now 25 years later, he's sort of the town joke. He drinks too much. He's accomplished nothing, and people kind of laugh about him behind his back. And he's running for mayor because he thinks, people love him and support him, and they don't just laugh at him behind his back. And then we have his wife, Emma, who was like the high school cheerleader who fell in love with the captain of the football team, played by Bryce Mauricio. And then we have a friend of hers who is a hairdresser in town who appears in the first scene and kind of helps set the stage for the attitudes of the white people in town towards the black. That's played by Lindy Johnson. And she's only on stage for a brief period of time, but she's hysterical.
Yes,
And then, pardon me, then Emery Roth plays Dixie, which is a young girl who comes in looking for a job, who also is sweet on Carl. And I have to tell you, those moments when she's on stage, I laugh so much in the audience because it's really the moment of comic relief in the show. And she plays the sweetest young girl. It's just hysterical. And then we have a police officer, played by Kendrick Tufton, who is from Ray, Colorado. and he's on stage a little bit, but he's the police officer who drops Nathan off.
And you also have a sophomore playing your assistant director.
Oh yeah, Luis Guidardo is who's been in every other show since he's been here. And as Luis said when he read the script and knew Cameron was coming up, he went, "Well, I guess there's nothing for me to do in this show." Is there? He said there probably weren't very many Hispanic police officers, and I guess I can't do anything else because we can't do colorblind casting in this show like we always do. So I said, "Well, I've got a good job for you." And he's been working with the show, and he's really learning because he's going to direct a one act in April.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do those student directed one acts again. It's a good chance for the students to learn. He and Brandon are going to direct in the spring, so that's good. But this show is just, I'm really pumped, and I just hope people come and I see this story. This is a powerful story, a really well-written piece. And while it's not about Nathan, it almost is, because you see Carl reflected in him. It's about this family that's falling apart in a world that's changing too fast.
So Cameron, it's kind of, Clay talked about emotions. You're going to laugh a little bit, but it also really, you think back to what the 60s were all about, huh?
Right, and truly, you go back to that time period essentially, and they show us exactly how they felt and the tension. And like you said, they're just moving a little too fast, and especially in the small town of Mississippi. A lot of times we tend to forget about the struggles that people had, our pioneers that really brought this new life that we tend to enjoy and almost forget. They really give us a chance to understand why we do what we do and why we're passionate about whatever we choose to do, whether it be going to school or choosing to go to school for the first time. Nathan and Carl really find this common ground, and it allows everyone inside the audience and even in the cast to realize, hey, maybe I'm taking what I really, really fight for granted sometimes. Maybe I need to be a little more focused on what I really, truly love.
Did you ever think that after your years of school with Mr. Grizzle here that you would hook up later on and he'd call you up and say, "Hey, I got a project for you. Can you come up?"
I had no idea, but Mr. Grizzle's always been the type of person who has this magical, magnetic effect on people, and I cannot see myself not working with him again. He's been one of those people that's challenged me on stage. He's challenged me in life, and he's also brought a newfound sense of self whenever I see him. So it's always a blessing to link up with him, whether it be on stage or just to go have a sandwich. It's always a blessing to see this man.
That's awesome. That's a great thing. He's blushing. It makes you feel good, doesn't it, Clay?
Yeah, I think he exaggerates a little bit there. He exaggerates a little bit.
I can't say enough about this man.
but Cameron was one of those students when he got on campus, stood out immediately. A lot of talent there, kind of raw, but he learned quickly. It was funny because the cultural environment in Carthage, Texas, is radically different than the cultural environment here. In fact, my first year I was at that school, I had another faculty member walk up to me and say, "Now, when you're recruiting students, don't get anybody from the other side of the tracks," because it was literally a town that had a railroad track in the middle of it. And it just, in fact, that's ultimately why I left. The environment was just, I had to worry about offending the Klan with shows I did. I actually had a faculty member say, "If you do this, you're going to offend our board members that are in the Klan."
Really?
Yeah.
Truly. It was a very divided town, and like most cities and towns in the South are, they're divided by railroad tracks. So you cross those tracks, you know exactly where you are. But Mr. Grizzle called me up this summer, and we were talking all throughout the fall. He said, "I'm going to get you down here to McCook. Or up here to McCook." I said, "Well, you know what? If these people really, really enjoy the script, enjoy the talent, I'm there no matter what. Nothing's going to stop me." So we hopped in the car, and 14 hours later, we arrived.
Well, glad you're here in McCook, Nebraska. I knew Cameron was a good guy right away because he had a Stone Cold T-shirt on. That guy knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
Well, I should feel bad because he had to tell me what that was.
Just show him some videos, YouTube some videos of who Stone Cold. You'll be a fan right away, Clay. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
He's a Texas legend.
Oh my gosh, big time legend. Big time legend. But we encourage folks next week, 3 performances on the weekdays and then 1 on the weekend.
Right. Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night at 7, and Sunday at 2 at the Weath. And you probably want to get there early because, unlike the last show, what we're going to do is when the seats are full, we're going to lock the door.
Okay.
So we're not going to stand people up in the back and that sort of thing. But we're going to have at least one more row of seating, maybe two.
Sure now.
So
Now, there's
come out and see the show.
no admission, but as always, free will donations to
Right.
help with the department, right?
Right, the money goes in, and we do all kinds of things. Like for the last couple of years, the money that we raised helped pay for our trip to London last year. My students want to go on a trip the end of next year. We don't know, we don't know what or when, and so we're starting a fundraising for that on Tuesday night at the North Platte game.
Okay.
We're going to tape Andy long to the wall of the gym again.
That happened last year, and I remember that, Andy. You had a lot of you used a lot of tape, right? Clay, I was just picturing myself.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe Andy was back there.
No, Andy's
You're
not
so
there.
good. You are so good. I just thought you were looking right at Andy Long.
Andy was on the wall, the
Yes.
east wall, I think last year, and boy, you had to use a lot of tape, didn't
We
you?
did. We used a lot of tape,
Yeah.
and we're going to. We're not going to do it quite as long,
Right.
but we're going to do it, and so it's a good chance for people to support the theater, and it's kind of a fun little activity because if we get enough tape, what we want to do is pull the box out that Andy's standing on to see if he stays.
Oh my. It could take maybe a little bit more tape this year.
Well, it'll take some tape. It will.
So that'll be next Tuesday, North Platte Community College, McCook Community College basketball.
Yes.
Okay.
The North Platte game, but let's just come out and support the
Yeah.
support the Indians over those the Evil Knights.
Yeah.
I
Exactly
probably
right.
shouldn't say Evil Knights since they're
That's-
also us too.
They probably say the same thing about us.
Well, they do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's really funny, rooting against ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
Exactly. Sister colleges, but
Yes.
you want to beat them in the worst way.
Oh yeah.
So
Of all the people to beat, we want to beat them.
that's if you don't win any games the entire season, as long as you beat North Platte Community College, you're good.
We've had a great
I
season.
am in there for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for coming by, Clay. Cameron, good to meet you,
Yes,
and
my
it
pleasure, Rick.
should be a great show. And you're going to be around for another week, aren't you?
Absolutely. I'll be around, so if you see me in town, I'll be happy to meet you, and we can talk about Texas, Nebraska, whatever we can do.
Are you you're showing them around different the Beer Rock Cafe and
Well,
everything?
as a matter of fact,
Uh-huh.
you know what a great guy Matt is.
Matt Saylor, yeah.
That's incredible.
Now that the show from last night is over and those artists are leaving the community,
Uh-huh.
they're going to move into the guest artist department down at the Beer Rock.
Upstairs.
Matt's going to let us use upstairs.
Cool, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's such a good guy. He
Yeah.
supports his community so well.
Absolutely.
We're lucky, just like we're lucky to have you in town.
Well, thank you.
We're lucky to have Matt. Now, we'd be even luckier if I could ever. What is it going to take for me to get you?
I
to
know
come and see a
I
show?
knew it's coming next week. I'm going to have to come to one of these shows because
we're
this
gonna
is going to be a great show.
We'll be, and we have a matinee.
I know it. Oh, well, the evening shows are going to be good too.
Yeah, and the times even work well
Yeah.
because we start at 7.
Exactly.
And-
how long, for folks who want to know, how long will this performance be?
The show itself will last about 2 hours and 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's an intermission in the middle of it, about 10 minutes. So it'll be about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I love histories. This is really catches when you're talking about the 60s. I love watching documentaries, stuff like that. So this really catches my eye.
Yeah. Now let me say, this is not a documentary.
No, it's not,
and it's
but-
not history. But
Yeah.
the character that he plays is literally based
Yeah.
on. It wasn't at the University of Northern Mississippi, but the University of Mississippi. There was a young black man accepted there over the protest of the schools, and his life there was horrible. They put him in classrooms and they put a chain around his desk so that nobody could interact with him. And the stories about him getting rocks thrown at him as he moved across campus and having to have the police protect him from student riots and things like that. It's almost impossible to believe that that's this country. We've changed so much. At least I want to think we've changed so much. Sometimes I wonder.
Yeah. With what has happened over the past year,
Yes. You
kind
wonder.
of kind of think back. You're still dealing with that from what happened in the 60s still today.
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit,
And
which is not. It's
people
not
need
good.
to change. We need to change.
Thanks for coming in. Great
Thank
performance.
you for taking your time.
Next week again. Next Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Right.
and once again at the Wee Theater
At the Wee Theater, and then there's a Sunday matinee.
and a Sunday afternoon as well. Clay, appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for taking your time, and for everybody for listening.
Yep.
Please come out to the show.
You bet. Cameron, good to meet you, and
Thank you,
and
Rich.
have a fun time in McCook. Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
You bet. Thanks for coming in. Clay Grizzle and great stuff in the McCook Community College Theater Department. 8:29. We're gonna find some.